All right. Check, testing, testing, check, 1, 2. Hope everybody is doing well today. If you are watching this live stream later, after the stream, be sure, please, as always, more than welcome. No pressure. Don't have to. But if you would like, leave some comments in the comment section below of this video. After the stream is over and you have missed it or just randomly coming across it, let's chat in the comments below if you feel up to it. I read most, or at least I attempt to read most comments in all my videos and respond as much as I possibly can. I still have to go through a lot of my other past videos the past month to respond to those comments, which I still will do. I've responded to a few of them so far over the past couple of days, but I still have a plethora of more stuff to respond to, random comments that have been continuously coming through a lot of my videos. As always, guys, you know, my channel would not be the channel that it is today without, of course, you know, you all who have subbed to the channel and been here for the streams, been here for the videos. You know, Star Wars Unlimited Universe would not be the channel it is today. Again, as always, it's all due to you all. You know, I mean, granted, I created the channel, but you know, I could still be sitting around with like 2 subs up to this point. But you know, I'm definitely grateful for those who have joined me on this continuous journey to talk about Star Wars, because it is my favorite fictional world out of any. Goes Star Wars for me, and then of course anime, as I continues to talk about. What am I looking for here? What am I doing? I don't know what I was doing there. I'm trying to change the song. I don't want this one playing in the background. I just want it just to be the start. So we're just gonna talk. Gonna go for at least an hour if I can. It all depends, as always, these streams always depend on the comment section during the live stream. As always, I don't want to be up here just chatting away, staring at my camera. So if anybody does pop in, shares their thoughts, lets me know what they're thinking, feeling, whatevs, that we can hopefully have a good and fun stream today and any day that I do have a chance to stream. Okay, so let me double check the sound of the song that's playing now. That's fine. That should do. I'm just gonna notch it up just a smidge. Just a smidge. So again, you know, the stream's gonna go is wherever it's gonna go, whether it's just me talking, if anybody pops in, is lurking, listening to me ramble about the news that has hit the Star Wars outlets over the course of the past roughly 48 to 72 hours. Definitely the newest news, of course, is the Mandalorian season 3 debut release date. A little bit of Acolyte stuff, and a little bit of Andor stuff as we are preparing for our wait for basically 2024 for Andor to come around, and sorry, I'm responding to this message. So, with that, we are, of course, excited for. Many of us are excited. There are a few that are questioning, wondering, pondering. Will Mandalorian season 3 live up to the hype that it is currently on? Because of there's some fans that didn't necessarily like season 2. I enjoyed it, and that Mando has just been just like him, and Grogu has just been just like a top notch show for me personally, as a fan of the characters and various other characters within the show itself. Um, so so yeah. Uh, so as we are patiently, again, we're patiently waiting for Andor. I mean, it ended, and it sucks because it's just like with me in the anime community, when anime that has been done really well with audiences and stuff like that, and the full, roughly, basically the full whole, roughly 20 plus episodes finalizes, and you know for a fact that a second season or third season is coming, but it's going to take a good while. I always talk to a buddy of mine's, who I'm actually about to message now. Maybe he can pop in if he has time. Um, and buddy of mine, we talk about Star Wars stuff. We talk about Andor. We talk about we watched Mando, had our thoughts on Mando. Um, we've talked a little bit about the Acolyte, which we are going to talk about here in the stream here, and it's just one of those things, guys, where because like for me and my buddy here, like when it's pertaining to Andor, like we were on a different wavelength as far as the episodes were concerned. Like he enjoyed it, but he didn't love it as much as I did. Like all 12 episodes, I loved every last one of them from start to finish. There were just specific things that we're gonna talk about on streams. I'm gonna put videos together, thoughts and stuff like that, character analyzations and stuff like that. We're gonna do all of that here on the channel for Andor, and just one of those things, guys, that when me and my buddy would talk, and then I would, of course, talk to you all here on the channel and various other people popping in on the videos and the comments, that it was just one of those things that I was just sitting back like, I know for me, like I would love Dando. My buddy, he just liked it. He didn't, there were just various things because, he was one of the fans that for him, it was it had its moments for him, but it wasn't like standing out. He was even telling me like, a show like this would even work like for like Thrawn, if they had a series for Thrawn, because everything's just like slow paced, a lot of dialogue. The action, when it comes, it does hit or pop in certain moments, depending on the viewer themselves, and it's understandable. And that's what Andor was for a lot of people. Now there was something that popped out, and I don't really take, you know, critic reviews or anything as like gospel for me. I'm just like, I more so look at it like, okay, the critics say what they say, but what do you say? What are your thoughts on the show or on a movie or whatever that you're watching? Because I feel like the audience themselves, not the critics, even though they basically are, they kind of are an audience within themselves. They get paid to watch. We don't, as fans, we don't get paid to watch. We would basically end up turning into a critic to make a paycheck. But for us fans, we run to these sites to watch these type of shows to see what the directors, the writers, the creators and all that, how they portrayed these stories and stuff, these plots, these characters. And, with a show like Andor, it definitely was a hit or miss. You could say that for Mando, you could say that for Book of Boba Fett, Kenobi, all of that. It all depends. It's all subjective. Everybody's reaction is going to be different. You know, the Star Wars fandom has been at each other's neck. I personally don't like it. I despise the fact that there's specific division, just because people are responding in such a way and name calling and this, that, and the third. I'll keep bringing it up in these streams, in the comments, just saying, like, you know, I just wish that people would just allow people to express themselves and not become defensive, whether you liked, loved, hate, disliked, or in between a show like Mando and or whatever Star Wars is, you know, whatever is being pushed out Star Wars wise, even the comics, even the books, that people, you know, their opinions should be validated and they shouldn't be pushed to the wayside. That you can literally agree to disagree, walk away from the table, and then come back and continue to share your view, even to the point, like, if things got heated, you just walk away. You're just like, okay, I'm gonna just take a breath and then come back, and hopefully we can just continue to have a civil conversation and or debate, to where, you know, you're not just like, okay, I'm done talking to you, you're a piece of crap because, or this, that, and the third. You're like name calling. It's just like, dude, like, it's a fictional world, guys. Has no real true effect on reality. It's just something that we go to for entertainment and we love to talk about, whether it's positive or negative. We just want to share our views, see other people, conversate with them, get their views, in hopes that, you know, we can vibe a little bit on the topic itself. You know, we don't have to fully vibe. We don't have to fully agree on everything, because that's not the humanistic way. Everybody's going to think and feel for themselves, and that's how it should be. So, you know, when it's pertaining to Mando, like I said, season 2, there's some fans that didn't like it, other fans that loved it or enjoyed it. I was one of the fans that loved it and enjoyed it. And, you know, of course, there's the whole thing about the nostalgia stuff with Luke. You know, of course, Ahsoka was there. Some people didn't like how Luke was portrayed. Other people did. There was just specific things within the show. Of course, Mando popping in, even in the book of Boba Fett, and people was calling it Mando 2.0 versus, you know, Boba supposed to being, you know, how Andor was supposed to be the main character, and he's pushed to the wayside because Mando pops up, Grogu, whatever the case, Luke, whatever, and you know, that stuff just occurs. So, you know, season 3, we get the Bo-Katan stuff, and to me, the trailers look great. To me, the plot of the story sounds good on paper. And per, you know, the announcement that season 3 is coming out March 1st next year in 2023, because again, we're getting the Bad Batch season 2 in under, a little over a month from now, on January 4th, of next year. And then we kind of have a little bit of a gap because, as far as I know, nothing else is coming out until Mando season 3. Like, we're getting the Bad Batch season 2, which is probably, I want to say that's going to lead us into Mando season 3. I have to double check, because I feel like there's something else that probably is coming out Star Wars wise. Now that I'm thinking about it, I was watching a live stream of something earlier, and somebody did mention something. I have to go back and look at it, but I think there might be something coming out. Now that I'm thinking about it, just popped in my head, like, oh wait, I could be wrong on that, which is fine. That there is possibly again something coming out in between the Bad Batch season 2 and Mando season 3. But, you know, with that, we get, even if that's the case, we get something else, and say it's the same day, like on a Wednesday, you know, then yeah, we'll have that, and then whatever those two shows, Bad Batch season 2 and whatever that other show is, that will walk us into Mando. That'll work, so that way it doesn't feel like we're waiting patiently for something like Andor to come back. You know, one of my things I'm going to be bringing up in a stream a couple of times while I'm waiting, do some extra videos on, is going to be talking about the Ahsoka series. I can't wait for that, because that has been the Ahsoka series has been my most anticipated show because Grand Admiral Thrawn is my favorite non-Force user of all time. And, you know, his books versus, you know, whether it was the original trilogy, the prequels, you know, the side story, you know, all of that, you know, Thrawn has definitely been something that I loved to pick up and read per his books, and even the comic books and stuff, even the Heir to the Empire comic books too. Those versions are really good. So I'm really anticipating that. I can't wait. That, you know, again, that show has been sort of hidden from the audience because they are more than likely still shooting production wise. We still don't know who's playing Thrawn. We sort of possibly have a gist of maybe Mikkelsen reprising the role as Thrawn, but in live action form. That could be something that could be the case. We don't know what the Ghost crew themselves look like in live action form. We've only seen the back of Hera and, you know, besides Chopper, but that's about it. So and even like the back of Sabine Wren. So it's just like we haven't fully seen the Ghost crew besides, you know, Ezra, fully how you see me here on the screen, talking and speaking their lines. We haven't seen any of that. And again, we haven't heard anything as far as Thrawn is concerned. So, you know, again, you know, my anticipation for this Ahsoka series is high for me personally. And I'm just hoping that, you know, they do their best to honor the character, honor Timothy Zahn when it's pertaining to Thrawn. And I believe that I'm really believing that they will, but we'll see what happens. But per the news, Mando season 3, we got the debut. Per the article from the Direct, I'm gonna pull it up. Like I said, guys, nobody pops into I'm just gonna keep talking, and then the stream's gonna probably end in the next 10 or so minutes if nobody pops in, which is fine, because sometimes that occurs. I'm just gonna get rid of myself. And where are you? Never mind. I'll just fix it. Yes. No. Maybe just hide. There we go. It's already up there. Okay. So again, it was announced at this event, the panel and stuff, that Mando, because they did talk about some other stuff as far as Marvel's concerned, but they did have like this exhibit stuff with Mando, his booth and stuff like that, and Pedro popped up at the event as well, which was cool. And to see him get on stage and talk about stuff, which was really, really cool. They probably had Grogu pop up too, because I know last year they did have Grogu at one of the events when season 2 was about to come out, that they had Grogu actually pop up and move around per the you know, the mechanics of how they normally would have Grogu do it, which was really cool to see. And of course, they also had Dave and John pop up talking about stuff, because I guess they couldn't be there specifically. They had to do a video when they were talking about Mando season 3. And of course, like I said, they made the announcement over the past roughly couple of days that Mando season 3 was dropping on March 1st next year, which is just really, really cool. And of course, we also got the Indiana Jones stuff, which was I personally, originally I didn't think that I was gonna check out Indiana Jones 5, but after seeing that very first trailer earlier today, I was just like, all right, they got me. I'm watching it. But you know, with Mando getting ready to be prepared to come out next year, the hope is that, you know, season 3 will be better than season 2, because again, you always want to, you definitely always want to do better. It's kind of like how as content creators are, in our minds and our thinking. One of the rules as a content creator, if you ever are thinking about being a content creator, and I was thinking about doing like a Q&A stream, or a few of them, or how many a year, in the coming future. But if you ever want to be a content creator, there's definitely dedication to it. You kind of don't want to lose your first love when it's pertaining to your why, as reasons as to why you're doing or being a content creator. Because ultimately, a lot of us content creators want to, because I still work, I still have a daily job, not so much as Monday through Friday, but I do work 20 shifts in a month, and it's still hard for me to do the content that I do, because a lot of times I am, even when it's pertaining to Andor, that when I push these videos out, I'm like rushing to push them out before I have to go catch a bus, because I don't have a car. I have to catch a bus to go to work, and then of course that's when the video pops on the channel. It's always the hope that people, at least my subscribers here, at least you all, are at least checking out the videos. But of course, the algorithm itself is going to take the video that I push out to you and make it flow wherever it's going to flow, in hopes that many of you who are subscribed to the channel will check it out. Hope that you enjoy it. Hope that I'm entertaining you and keeping your attention for those roughly 2 to 5 minutes. I try my best to keep my videos roughly to 2 to 5 minutes, depending. And I'm always, like I said, the reason why I'm saying this is because I'm always looking to try to be better than the video prior, basically from the video the day before. So that's just like a stickler for a lot of us content creators, because we're always trying to put out a better thumbnail, better music, better editing for the videos. Hopefully our speech is good or great, better than the video before, and we're not stuttering and stammering. I know I do a lot of that too. So when I'm pushing out Andor, when I'm going to be pushing out Mandalorian season 3 stuff, I don't do a lot of I don't have a script. I just say what's on my mind a lot, and a lot of my videos do cause me to stutter and stammer. It's just something that I got to continue to work on. But that's just a small encouragement of saying, like, if you're thinking about being a content creator, even if it's Star Wars, just stay dedicated to it. At least just remember your reason why, keyword why, as to why you're doing or being a content creator, and sharing your love for Star Wars or whatever the fandom that you love. With Mando popping in, like I said, the hope is that they want to be better with this third season compared to the second season and even the first season. Because the first season, definitely, I feel like many fans loved that first season. And then when the second season did come through, had its moments, did what it needed to do or wanted to do or hopes to do, finalized those episodes, and then we just waited patiently for this third season. I definitely saw on social media, saw the responses, saw many videos being pushed out by other YouTubers, many thoughts. A lot of fans, there were a lot of fans that didn't like season 2 compared to season 1. But again, there were those of us who did enjoy season 2 or even loved season 2. And it just depended on the individual compared to a group of people, a group of Star Wars fans at the time. So, again, the hope is that for me, when I sit down and watch, again, we're going to cover the show. And again, as I always say, as I continue to tell you all, when I push the videos out, YouTube is going to either let them go through or they're not. And there's no guarantee that those videos will stay up forever. There's always a chance that any of those videos that I pushed out here on the channel, like any of them, even down to me not showing full scene but screenshots, because I've had videos on my other channel, my anime channel, with just screenshots alone get taken down because somebody thought that was what I shouldn't have done, or whatever the case. They just like just reported the video, and it got copyright claimed. I've even received copyright strikes before because of that. It's just, just one of those things where it's just like, you can upload stuff, but there's no guarantee that the video or whatever that you're uploading is going to stick and stay. Because there was another YouTuber who also does anime. He used his own music that he put together, and even that video got taken down because of the music. And he's like, that's my music, I put it together, I composed it and everything so that I could use it on my video, and it still got taken down, still got claimed, all of that. It's just like, man, you can do certain stuff, but you can't. It's like, man. So, per these Mando season 3 episodes, gonna cover it on the channel, gonna put out some videos, hopefully, put specific scenes out that stood out to me, and hope that people watch them and enjoy them, and we can have a healthy conversation about our thoughts on season 3. I just personally think that the show itself is going to be, probably for me at least, is going to be better than season 2, just because of what they're per the trailers. And that's the other thing when it's pertaining to Andor, where fans were thrown off because they didn't realize that none of us knew that Andor was going to be a dramatic show where there was like 90% to 95% dialogue and only 5 to 10% action. I even talked about that too in the past stream, like trailers are deceiving, and they have been for decades. It's just that, we just haven't really paid attention until recently, where we were just like, whoa, wait, hold on. They said this, did this, showed that. It's not actually showing on the screen that we were looking for to seeing in these trailers. And it was just something that, just like, oh, okay, now we're understanding the game. Not like Triple H, but we're understanding the game. That, it's all about clicks, views, and getting people to go to the theater or subscribing to a streaming service, so that they can be able to get the numbers that they're looking for, while also at least a few of them actually caring about the fans that are actually looking to entertain us. There's only a handful. Most of everybody else is just like, look, we just want your money. Here's the product. Pay for it. You do whatever you want to do with the product. As long as we're getting that money back and more, have at you, Snake. You do what you want. So again, there are a lot of these companies, they don't really truly care about people's feelings and stuff when it's pertaining to whatever it is, the content that they're pushing out to us. So it's just something that, many people of whatever fandom that are looking at these shows, these movies and stuff, and are watching them, taking in what the creators and stuff for these things are pushing out to fans. It's just that what we just have to accept that it's not gonna, a lot of the stuff is probably more than likely just not going to meet our expectations, and that's a part of the game in life, when it's pertaining to entertainment. So, but yeah, season 3, I can't wait, because I'm gonna cover it on the channel, and we're gonna go from there. Now I'm gonna move on to the Acolyte, another one that I'm actually really truly looking forward to come off camera, because I put it in the community tab, but I still wanted to talk about it, just because the actress who played in Logan plays currently in His Dark Material. I'm interested to seeing how her character is how she's gonna act as the character that she's gonna be playing in this show. I am definitely hopeful that Daphne Keane does a good job at the character in whatever role that she has per the show, per the Acolyte. But per this article by Alicia Leach, she had went on record. Again, like I said, I shared a little bit of the comment that she made per the show, because we're going to be focusing on 100 years prior to Phantom Menace, episode 1. And we are. I am patiently waiting. There are some fans that aren't really looking forward to this, but I personally am because again, as I've said, continue to say, like, even though I love Andor a lot, I still love the Force. I still love Jedi and Sith. That's what drew me into Star Wars. That's the main centerpiece of Star Wars, but it's not the full centerpiece of Star Wars because Andor uh, once again proves that there are stories out there within the books, within the comic books, that have hardly any action in it. It's heavy dialogue, heavy dramatic stuff, and those stories were practically perfect, and so was Andor itself. But for what Daphne said here in the interview, this is what she says. There's some other comments that are made, but I want to read the initial thing that I shared in the community tab earlier, where she says, let's see. While the actress was understandably reluctant to give too much away, King confirmed that the Acolyte marks the historic feat of being the franchise's first Sith-led project, which is true. We've had a lot of Jedi stuff, again, Skywalker saga, where it's a mixture of Jedi and Sith, but this is just mainly. It feels like it's been more of a switch because it's been seemingly more about the light side of the Force when it's pertaining to the films, and now we're getting this show that's dark side centered. It is the dark side versus compared to the light side. It's the dark side of the Force, and they're going to be talking about in this show, because there are rumors that they're going to be talking about Darth Bane. There's probably going to be mention about Darth Plagueis, probably a mention about definitely about Tenebros, and the hope per this show for myself as a fan of the Force and a fan of the Sith, that this show will captivate me, definitely keep my attention per each episode, and have me wanting to how Mando was, keeping me running back for more for each episode that jumps out each week. Now I don't know if anything was said on how many episodes this artist could be going back to the 6 episode formula. That could be the case per this show. But if we get 8 or 10 episodes, I'll take that as well. Because a lot of fans don't like the fact that they spend between Star Wars and Marvel per these shows. A lot of fans don't like the fact that there have been only roughly 6 episodes being pushed out. I mean, we're not even gonna count She-Hulk because that was just something that they tried and attempted. Many fans liked it, many fans didn't. So it just depends on the person. Willie T, what's going on with my homie, the GOAT, the legend? How are you today? Definitely can't wait either. Sorry, I just looked at the comment, seeing that you left a comment. Hope you're doing well today. So what she said, what Daphne Keene said here, this is a portion of what her comment said, what I shared in the tab. This is what she said. No, she says, no, I mean, as you know, it's set 100 years before the prequel movies, and it's kind of an expansion of how the Sith infiltrated the Jedi, which is also key because this is supposed to be the end portion of the High Republic, which I actually personally have to get back into. I was reading, trying to keep up with the various books and comic books that were coming out at the time, but life happened and I fell off. So I'm now literally like a few books behind, or roughly 3 books behind, and various comic books behind. So I have a lot of catching them. That's both between the adult and the kid comic books. I personally don't mind reading the kid comic books because those stories still are tied to the adult comic books as well, and even the books. Like all those comic books are going to be tied, are going to have some reference or tied into the main story of from the book's perspective. And I'm definitely hoping for a High Republic series or movie or something. I would love to see that be done in live action form or animated form, whichever comes first. So she talked about this being a Sith-led story, which has never been done before. It's been really fun to film. The cast is amazing. Director, crew, just lovely. The whole experience is wonderful, and I'm already excited for people to see it. Now, one thing that I just found out is that Daphne Keane is a fan of the EU, and to me it doesn't matter to what extent. As long as you're a Star Wars fan, you don't have to be heavily into Star Wars to be a fan of the fandom or any fandom. Like, there's no rule that says you need to be knowledgeable on everything. Like, I'm not knowledgeable on everything Star Wars, but I can be if I really put the time and the work in. But my knowledge, if I'm the most knowledgeable person in the world, doesn't have or hold weight against somebody who's not that knowledgeable. The end result of being a Star Wars fan is just that you are a Star Wars fan. Whether you watched the movies, just read some books, didn't check out the films, whatever the case may be, you're a Star Wars fan. There's no rule that says that you have to watch the movies, or you have to read the books and watch the movies, or whatever the case. There's no rule to that. As long as you just enjoy watching Star Wars or reading Star Wars, that's what matters. And Daphne Keane, for her, I'm just glad to know that she loves the EU. Whatever amount of books or whatever that she's taken in her spare time and in her life over this course, could have been basically roughly the past decade alone, because she is still fairly young. But she's still a fan of the EU, which is cool, and she at least has a sense of what the character that she's portraying on the show to come, what she's going to be looking to hopefully bring to the table. Then it goes on to say, Keane revealed that the show will explain how the Sith infiltrated the Jedi Order, eventually bringing about its demise as depicted in George Lucas's Revenge of the Sith. These comments also echo those of the Acolyte showrunner Leslie Headland from earlier in the year. Leslie confirmed that the show will be told from the perspective of the antagonist, which is just great. We as fans been wanting a Sith-led live-action story for a good while. We've had mostly Jedi-led stories with the Sith being like second fiddle to the Jedi. But there are a lot of fans that love the dark side, and I'm one of them. And I've been hoping for something like this. Ultimately, I've been hoping for a Darth Bane movie trilogy per the books, and hopefully that will happen. Probably never will, but I'm still hopeful that Darth Bane will be portrayed in live action form or animated form, whatever the case may be, in over the next 15-20 years, in hopes that I'm still around, still alive to see that occur. Because we're more than likely going to possibly get a Grand Admiral Thrawn series, and of course the hope that many fans were having way back when, that even the prequels, even the sequels, that those films were going to be the heir to the Empire trilogy films that fans were hopeful for but never got. And hopefully that, with Thrawn coming into the Ahsoka series, that will be the case, that they are working on a series or films or whatever, or both, and we can get that stuff, maybe get the Ascendancy to be portrayed in live action form, in those characters, and even the Eli Vanto and stuff like that. But then they go on to say, and that is the point of continuing the reading here, of View lines up with her own love for the era when these bad guys were essentially the underdogs prior to the fall of the Republic and the Jedi. I think that's what they're saying for Leslie Headland herself, not specifically Keane. The writer also revealed that she knew the timeline really well. Okay, so they are bringing up the fact that she has read up on maybe read up on the EU. I was coming at it as a fan who was much more into the RPG. Okay, so she played the games. Nice. I haven't played the games. No, I'm hopeful that I'll play the games, because I've been wanting to play the games. I just read the books, some of them at least. I came hard at that in the 90s, and then got introduced to the animated series, Knights of the Clone Wars. I knew the timeline really well, and I was like, I think I think if you want to explore Star Wars from the perspective of bad guys, the best time to do it is when the bad guys are wildly outnumbered and when they are essentially underdogs, for lack of better terms. So this would be that era. So how will the Star Wars fanfic go on screen? Okay, so you know that's the hope, guys. The hope is that this show, the Acolyte, that comes out next year, will indeed be what the fans want, hope for. Because again, I really want to see the Sith, the Old Republic, the EU, whatever the case. I want to see these characters be portrayed on my television screen, on my phone, or whichever. I want to be able to watch stuff like the Acolyte. To, like I said, to be able to possibly hopefully see Darth Bane be portrayed in live action form. That would be just great to me, because again, we're getting one of my other wish, and that is Grand Admiral Thrawn to be portrayed in live action form. We're getting that. That's the first thing. The second thing for me is, of course, to maybe, hopefully, Disney, if you're watching this video, to give me a Darth Bane trilogy film or TV series, and hope that you do the character and other characters justice, to where I can, just relish in these shows or movies or whatever, because I still read the books. I have a Darth Bane social media group dedicated to the character. I have a Grand Admiral Thrawn social media group dedicated to that character. So, I'm hopeful that because I'm getting Thrawn, I'm hopeful that I'll get Bane too. And, other fans are hopeful that they'll get their favorite Darkseid user to be portrayed in live action form. Maybe, possibly, or even from the games, like how Keen was saying. Maybe that will occur. So, we'll see what happens. I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait, because I'm anticipating this show to hopefully be good. And if it's great, I will gladly take that. And we will see once this show, Mando season 3, the Bad Batch, again, that's coming up first. I'm gonna look and see, because I can't remember. I'm gonna try to find. I think I'll be able to find it, where they talked about somebody specifically. I was watching a live stream earlier today that I thought I remember somebody talking about there was something else coming out around the time or a little bit after, like how I think was it Andor came out a little bit just before Kenobi was getting ready to end. I think I could be wrong, but something like that, where we were getting two things in 1 week. And that kind of pushed the envelope a bit. But then again, it could have been She-Hulk that was coming out around the time that Kenobi was getting ready to end. That's probably what it was, because I was still watching all the episodes of She-Hulk, even though I didn't thoroughly enjoy the show. I just thought it was just fairly decent. But it was just content that I was just like, I'll check it out, and the beginning portion of She-Hulk was cool, and then after that, it just kind of just like fell off for me. But I continue to come back and just watch, because I personally am just like, I'll just keep watching, seeing how they finish it. And they did. And then, like I said, that was around the time that when She-Hulk came, Kenobi was ending, I think 2 weeks or 3 weeks prior to Kenobi ending at the time, and we were getting She-Hulk stuff. So yeah, again, that's the hope, guys. Come next year, Bad Batch season 2, whatever show, Star Wars show that's supposed to pop in, probably more than likely in between. And then, of course, we will get Mando season 3 on March 1st. And then, of course, after that, then that more than likely will probably walk us into the Ahsoka series and whatever else may be coming up. There's probably, possibly a Book of Boba Fett season 2 coming. If that's the case, I'm personally thinking that's not going to come out until 2024. I don't think that they will be, if they're still going to do a season 2, that they will that they're working on it right now, because I don't think there's any word on that I've come across in the past of them fully confirming that they're working on season 2 right now. I think that's just been pushed on the back burner, because they did say once Book of Boba Fett finished, they'll be working on Mando season 3 anyway, like right after, because we knew once John made that mention. I think it was on Good Morning America, if I remember. He did say that Book of Boba Fett was coming first, and then they were gonna just fully finish Book of Boba Fett, and then they were gonna work on Mando season 3. So I was just like, okay, so Mando is put on hold. They're just gonna just focus on this one thing, which is fine, because they were working. If I remember correctly, they were working on Mando season 2. Like they were finalizing Mando season 2, and then they started to work on season 3 right after, and then that's when they were just like, all right, now that we've gotten most of Mando season 3 done, now we can work on Book of Boba Fett. So we will see, guys, come next year. So at least January through March, we'll have a good plethora of content for Star Wars. It's right after, because again, Ahsoka series has been like mostly hush. We've only got bits and pieces from the Ahsoka series. We don't even know who's portraying Grand Admiral Thrawn currently, which I'm actually personally, I personally like the fact that they have Thrawn hidden. I like the fact that, there's rumors that we can take a grain of salt, but there's rumors that Mikkelsen is actually reprising the role, actually playing Thrawn in live action form. But there's no true, because with I forgot his name, the one actor who fans were thinking that, and even supposed leakers and stuff were pushing out info that what's his face from Aladdin was supposed to portray Ezra Bridger, and that wasn't the case at all. They were still working on trying to actually get these auditions together for these actors, and the Aladdin actor had only one audition, if I remember correctly. That's what he was saying, and it was just like he didn't even get it, and he just moved on. Fans were just still thinking and assuming per these legal stuff that was the case, that he did get the job, and that wasn't the case. It was actually somebody else eventually. But we can't take a lot of things fully on as gospel until until we gain the actual full on scoop, because so many people, I feel like they want to be first in line to be breaking news and all of that. It's just like eventually the actual stuff's going to get pushed out, the trailers and stuff, whatever the case, it's going to get pushed out eventually. It's just people just don't have the patience to wait. There's plenty of other stuff out here to watch. Even if you rewatch something, plenty of stuff that you can do that can entertain your time while you're waiting a year or two for a show that you liked or loved to come back. So we'll see come next year. At least, like I said, I want to say at least half of the year. If this Ahsoka series drops summer of 2023, at least we'll have roughly 6 months worth of Star Wars content, which is good. It's what's the question for me is what's going to be coming in many others, or what's going to be coming out after the Ahsoka series, because that's like the main thing. Like the main thing of 2023 besides Mando was the Ahsoka series for myself. So like the huge stuff that I was really looking forward to. So after the Ahsoka series ends, what's going to come next towards the end of 2023, and of course walking into 2024? That's the question at hand. But with that, guys, I'm done rambling. Just my homie popped into the comments real briefly. Definitely will thank you for popping in and telling me how you can't wait for the Acolyte to arrive next year. I can't wait either. I'm looking forward to it. I'm hyped for it. I'm just hyped just that Star Wars is still here, still pushing. Some stuff clicks, other stuff doesn't. It doesn't matter. What matters to me is that there are fans out there that are at least sitting down to watch this content and having their own opinion about it and be able to share it in hopes that, you know, they're not looked down for a positive or a negative thought on Star Wars content, whether it's a TV show, movie, a book, a comic book. You know, we're all fans at the end of the day. All of us gained a love or like for the universe itself at some point in our lives. And, you know, we just, you know, just need to accept that people think differently than us, react differently. It is totally fine. There's no rule when it's pertaining to anything entertainment wise, fandom anywhere. There's no rule that says that your love for something is like in your thoughts and stuff, or like in your views and stuff, are way better than somebody else's because you personally feel like Star Wars is supposed to look like this or feel like this. Like, Star Wars is a fictional world that has no effect on reality. It's just something that we gravitate towards to entertain us. And whether you're a big fan of the universe or a small fan, you're a fan to me. And, you know, you matter to me. Your thoughts, your feelings, your opinions, all of it matters to me as a fan of the universe. But with that, I'm out. I will holler at y'all later on the next stream, next video, as I basically prepare to enjoy the rest of my evening. Enjoy the rest of the evening, night, guys. I'll holler at y'all later. And remember, the Force